seriousness.
Welcome to Hobby Palooza 2025. Hello everyone, I'm Orlando from A Collector's Dream, and I'm honored this year to be your Hobby Palooza ambassador. This year, we're once again proud to support Signatures for Soldiers, a non-profit helping disabled veterans through the power of sports autographs. As you know, we're accepting donations all weekend long, and for every $10 that you donate, you'll earn one raffle entry for some amazing prizes. The preferred way to donate is through Zelle in your banking app to the email jekofma@yahoo.com, JECOFFMA@yahoo.com. If Zelle is not an option, use PayPal, goods and services to the same email. Let's go ahead and beat last year's total of over $5,800. This hour of Hobby Palooza is brought to you by the Penny Sleever, who are generously donating 10% of this week's sales at thepennysleever.com to Signatures for Soldiers. The Penny Sleever, as you know, has top quality supplies at fair prices. Enjoy the show and have some fun.
Oh, it's over.
It's over and it's just getting started. Hey, thanks, Orlando. I know that was pre-recorded, but it's always nice to see Orlando, and I'm glad he was chosen to be the ambassador. Welcome, everybody. Here we are on For Collectors. My name is Alex. My channel name is Bowman53. Normally on Sunday nights at this hour, I'm hosting a live stream called Card Room Live. I'm sure we have some Card Room Live folks here in the chat, but I'm very excited to be part of Hobby Palooza again this year. And I just want to quickly say thanks to the guys at For Collectors for putting all of this together. We're nearly at the end of a very long weekend of sports card mania with this and one more live stream happening after this. So Max here and I are going to help take this thing home. Max from Max Jackson, give us a sense of your, I know this is a terrible question, but Max, can you tell us a little bit about your collecting style and your sort of focus over the past years that you've been collecting?
Well, for those people who are familiar with me, I've been on YouTube for a long time, and my just collecting journey has been on video, which was not my intention when I started it, but looking back, it's really cool to be like, hey, there I am. I'm 15 years old. I'm showing cards. So started out with modern, quickly got bored of around like 2013 of all the parallels that happened. And now that's like a drop in the bucket compared to what's happening now. And no offense to anyone who collects modern, whatever makes you happy. But I went into the 50s, and then I just dove headfirst into pre-war. And when I finished my T206 set, the 520, it just kind of evolved into whatever catches my eye. I do a lot of non-sport, but the topic of the show, something that really interested me is, I struggle with the name, and maybe some people in the audience can pitch in on what we call this. I'm always like, I don't know, generic baseball cards of baseball. It's something really hard to talk about in text form, because it's like, yeah, we're talking about baseball cards, but what kind? It's like, well, baseball. Like, so it's like a really bad comedy sketch. So this has been like a really fun hunt for me to track these down. And as you're going to see in the slideshow, I mean, how many countries do we have represented in this? It's just crazy. And that's something I'll talk about, like why this kind of interests me, these cards of other countries, because a lot of these are foreign cards. Is these cards very likely, some of them, and I'll talk about it when we get to it, like could have been someone's introduction to the entire sport of baseball.
Right.
We're talking, pre-1900, a kid in France, are they going to know what baseball is, or are they going to get a chocolate bar that came with a card and be like, oh, what is this? So that's something that has always just really interested me, and hunting down these cards. I own a lot of them. I'll talk about that. It's been a fun hunt as well.
Right. I just want to point out two things in what Max said. First, he very humbly mentioned that he finished the T206 set. So I just want that to like sink in for everybody. And also, Max, you said you started on YouTube when you were 15?
14.
14. Yeah.
Doing
So,
that.
you know, the term OG gets thrown around a lot. I want to submit that Max is a true OG. Like, you've been at this for a really long time, which I think is awesome. I hope somebody can put Max's channel in the chat, so that if anybody's not subscribed to Max, they can head over to his channel. He's got a lot of great stuff over there. For anybody that doesn't know my channel, I, really quickly, in the post-war world, I kind of focus on the heyday of New York baseball, Yankees, Dodgers, Brooklyn Dodgers, New York Giants. I'm wearing my Giants cap today in honor of Max, even though it's not San Francisco. It's the same deal. Yeah. And in terms of pre-war, I'm kind of all over the place, just enjoying the history, and that's kind of how I run my channel too. My channel is cards, but it's also baseball history and players and their stories. I definitely wanted to encourage anybody that is not on my channel to hop on over there and subscribe so that you can join us on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. for Card Room Live, where we're always talking about cards and general nonsense.
I get to sign on at 5. It's like my
right.
Yeah. While I eat dinner.
while you eat dinner, yeah. Whatever it takes. The other thing I wanted to mention, somebody asked about Max's polar bear shirt. I'm not going to talk about my shirt. I'm going to talk about Max's shirt, because Max's shirt is made by our friend Scott at Ranger Studios. I'm sure somebody can put in the link to Scott's Etsy and website if you're interested in getting some pretty awesome baseball t-shirts. That's where you got to go. All right, so I want to
just quickly say, sorry to interrupt you. I had other offers of shirts to wear tonight, other people trying to sponsor me, but I liked Scott so much that I didn't take any money and wore this one.
Oh, nice. So good for you.
Yeah.
I am not wearing a Scott shirt. Scott, I'm still your friend. I love you, man. But I am wearing a Brooklyn Atlantics 1872 shirt, just because I'm kind of thinking about early baseball. I wanted to throw out a mention about this book that I'm reading right now called Outrageous Lies Exposed: How Baseball Happened. The True Story Revealed. I've been reading this book for a little while, really enjoying the early days of baseball getting started. I'm planning on doing a video about it, and just to kind of get us in the mood of early baseball, I pulled this off the wall. This is going to be a little difficult for me to do, but I'm going to try to hold this up. This is a reprint from the original lithograph of the Currier and Ives artwork that I'm sure everybody here has seen many times before. I'm going to try to show this in a way that doesn't get too much glare. This was printed in 1866, the American National Game of Baseball, a grand match for the championship at Elysian Fields in Hoboken, New Jersey, featuring the Mutual Club of Manhattan and the Atlantic Club of Brooklyn. This is when baseball was, in its infancy, and it wasn't associated with stars or athletes or celebrities. It was just something that everybody was enjoying. It was our national pastime in the truest sense. And I just wanted to share this because this gets me thinking about early baseball, and that's kind of what we're going to look at when we look at these cards. Is, like Max was saying, we're not necessarily looking at teams or specific players, although that will happen. We're sort of looking at baseball as it evolved and as it grew from just being something that people did in their neighborhoods and towns into a moneymaker. So let's go ahead. I have a quick
card I want to show.
Yeah, please go for it.
Again, this is one that's not on the slideshow. You were talking about the origin of games, and this is actually a set called Origin of Games. And on the back, it talks about rounders and how it influenced baseball. There's 2 versions of this card. It should have included in the slideshow, but I thought that would be a cool card to show that is related to what you're talking about. This is, let's see, 1923 Nicholas Saroni. Rounders, Origins of Games. This comes in 2 formats, the large, and then there's a tobacco size as well. So thought that would be a fun one related to what you were saying about the origins of baseball. So.
Right. And I'll throw a card up real quick, and then we'll get into the cards themselves. This is a 1925 Turf Cigarettes number 50 baseball from Sports Records. And this card is special to me, not just because I think it's beautiful, but also because I first learned about this card through Max and his channel. You know, we talk about this as collectors a lot, that we're influenced by each other. And I can remember when I first started learning about cards, you know, of course you learn about Topps and Bowman and, you know, T206 and so on and so forth. But this was when I started to realize there's so many other fringe areas that are just as interesting and sometimes even more interesting and rare and unique compared to the, let's say, the more mainstream stuff. And, you know, this card jumped out at me thanks to Max. So, you know, here we are, however many years later, doing a live stream about it. So
yeah, we've been talking about doing this for a long time.
That's right. So let's get into the slideshow here. A lot of the cards that you're going to see in this slideshow are actually scans from Max's collection. Some of them are cards that I just found online, and we'll be sure to let you guys know which are Max's cards and which are just cards that we pulled. But this is kind of in chronological order, and you know, some of these cards will probably just fly through, and others we might spend a little bit more time on. So let's start with a really early card. This is a card that I think a lot of collectors know about and appreciate, the 1878 Huntley and Palmers. Max, anything you want to share about this one?
Yeah, this, as far as I know, is just about as early as you can get for a baseball card without breaking the bank. In previous iterations of this live show, you know, we were talking about like the earliest cards, and this really is not that far behind in terms of, you know, the year 1878. It's actually printed on the back. This was placed in with cookies, and the gold border is just really awesome in person. So a little bit about this set. There's actually 2 types to this set. You have the full color background, and then there was one with a white top. And most sports, most of the major sports got 2 cards. They got one in the full color and then one the white background. Unfortunately, baseball did not get a second card. Just as I know we're talking about baseball, but I did want to talk about this set briefly, and maybe I can get pulled up. This 1878 card is one that I think is super underrated in the hobby. This is the same set. And this is actually the first golf card, widely considered the first golf card. Like if you were to search first ever golf card, this would be the one that you would see. So I think this is a card that's super underrated in the hobby. And I just thought that was kind of, since we're talking about the set itself, I thought that would be great to share.
Awesome. Yeah, really, it's a really beautiful shot. I like the artwork is really interesting. The grandstand in the background, the catcher equipment or lack thereof, is kind of great. Let's move on. This is one that I pulled, and I want to give a shout out to a website that I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with, prewarcards.com. which for me has been a great resource in terms of just being able to read about and discover different sets and understand them a little bit better. And a lot of the cards that I kind of randomly picked came from that website. This is roughly dated around the 1880s. I couldn't find anything more specific than that, called Red Sox Trade Card. There's several in this set. And the name Red Sox Trade Card comes from the idea that every character in this really, really, really small set is always wearing red socks, as you can see with the fielder shown here. And they all are given little titles. This one's called Gobbling a Fly. It's, of course,
with no gloves.
Interesting. Interesting to see that there are no gloves. And just a lot of a lot of innovations waiting to happen, I guess.
Now, do you know, was this like done by a sock manufacturer? Is that why the emphasis is on the red socks, or just because this isn't one I'm familiar with?
Yeah, I could not find anything really specific about where these were from or what they were really associated with.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody out there knows, but that's a good guess. That's something
Yeah.
to do with clothing.
This is a great piece. You know, there's some really interesting cards like a little later that are like everyone is wearing a sweater in the card. I
Right.
don't have an example of it, and it's like, okay, you look at the back and this is a sweater manufacturer that's showing the warm-up sweaters that they made for the big leagues, trying to get people to buy sweaters. So I'm sure that's what these are too.
Right. Right. Kind of similar. This is again from the 1880s. It's a H804-33 gold medal coffee. Obviously a food product. What I liked about these, and I think again there's like 2 or 3 that were made by this company, is that they were very clever in terms of subtly referencing the company by adding them as promotions on the like walls of the field, as opposed to, you know, having superimposed text on the card itself. It's just like, you know, in the background somewhere as a little reminder of what this product is. And again, just sort of like taking a look at the little details, like the bats kind of hanging out on the sidelines. You know, the guy that's up next to bat is standing next to the coach, who, you know, is by third base, and just all sorts of
upset.
It does not look. Yeah, he definitely looks like a coach. I don't think things are going well. Yeah. Yeah, the pitcher is not 60 feet 6 inches. That's right. nor is there a mound.
By a comebacker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you were saying about like the advertisements, you know, since we're talking about like early generic baseball cards as a whole, like this is super representative of what you would see. And there's a lot of cards out there that are similar to this. And, you know, it's not always immediately apparent when you turn it over, like what the card is for. So
Right.
a lot of advertisements has always been part of the game, which I find interesting. That's been unchanged for, you know, 100 years, the advertisements. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of great trade cards. We didn't really get into trade cards, like as you'll see, like super heavy as we go through the slideshow. You could do another video on, or another stream just on trade cards. I don't personally know a ton about them. I want to get into it. But there's just like a super wide variety, and I'll talk about it a little later with the foreign trade cards. But I don't know specifically on this one, but you can get the same card with a different advertisement potentially on it. So
Right.
like this front, it says gold medal coffee, but you really could, and again, I don't know specifically on this one, but it could be an all number of things. I have there's a card a little later that I have 4 different versions of, and I'll get into that.
Right. I mean, it's like similar to the idea of like different backs, right?
Yeah.
The design is eye catching, but it's interchangeable depending on the company.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go on to the next one. Another one that I pulled just because I kind of was looking for stuff that to me jumped out and seemed interesting, or whether it's the artwork or just something about the image. This one is again from the 1880s, H804-42, Jacob Reed's Sons. And this is a clothing company out of Philadelphia. They have, the information right on the front, but there's also a back with a lot of information. I'll show you in a second. Jacob Reed's Sons, and they've got the address on Chestnut Street, popular clothiers and furnishers. And what's kind of great is if you look really closely, you may not be able to see it on the live stream, but each of these cards gets a little title. And this one is called So Near and Yet So Far, which is perfect. I mean, this is still like something that we enjoy in a baseball game, which is like, is the guy going to make the catch at the wall? And, this guy's going for it. He might break his knee, busting into the wooden plank.
I do love, like, obviously this is drawn for comedic effect, and that's something that's like quite common. And maybe if we have time, we'll get into that. But like, something about these early cards when you see the state, obviously we said no glove, no padding on the wall. It just is such a cool little snapshot of like what the game was at the time, which is different from the typical baseball card that we talk about, which is of a specific player. This is just like a look into baseball.
Right. Yeah, I'm not thinking about the player or the history of that guy's experience. I'm just sort of looking at baseball in general, which is fascinating. Here's another example from the same set. This guy is saying gaining his point. So I'm guessing this is the manager like shouting out maybe the lineup card, but also like rules and regulations. I don't know. He looks pretty emphatic about it. And a little look at the back of the card. This one also features the Athletics Baseball Club home schedule. I'm not sure what year it is. It'd be kind of interesting to try to figure it out if possible. But that year, among the teams they were playing includes Louisville, Cincinnati, St. Louis, Cleveland, Baltimore, etc. So again, just a little like snapshot of life in Philadelphia in the 1880s. Somebody goes and gets some clothes and is interested in the Athletics baseball team, and there's just a strong connection between daily life and baseball at that time period already.
When you were talking about on like a couple trade cards ago, the integration of the advertiser in the card, like this is the alternative to that, which I think is good to call attention to. So this is clearly like someone came up with the design, and then Jacob Reed and Sons, purchased X amount of cards or whatever, and then did their stamp on the front.
Yeah, just stamps
and then did their stamp on the back. And I find that super interesting as well. Something about like, hey, this is our local team. Like we know people love it. We want to be associated with the brand. This is talking about America being the the national pastime. Like this is kind of what happens when that's the case. So
right.
Distinction there.
Okay, yet another one, and this one's really interesting because this is actually like, I think, a candy wrapper. Runkles of New York, cocoa and chocolates, the most sustaining food. I think that's probably questionable, but we'll leave that alone. But this is just a beautiful wrapper. I mean, imagine getting a piece of candy in this. And no surprise, this is probably fairly rare because it's a wrapper. It's not going to be kept. But if you're going to keep a wrapper, this is one worth keeping.
When we, like a lot of these older cards, absolute survivors to have ever lasted. Something I like to think about when you talk about, like chocolate wrappers is what would it take for me to save a chocolate wrapper at this point? I don't know what it would take.
Right.
It's really funny to think about someone saving this for 150 years or whatever it is. Like you would get like a wellness check called on you if you saved a chocolate wrapper at this in life. So I really think that this is an amazing, beautiful piece. But thinking about like how it got to this point is just crazy. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think this guy taught Juan Marichal how to pitch too on that last one. On the
yes. There's a little bit of Marichal and maybe more in Spawn as well.
Yeah.
Okay, 1882, H804-11, Marshall and Ball, another clothing company. This one out of New Jersey. Again, I really like how the company name is really part of the design.
Tom, collector not hoarder. He's just saying the Runkles is actually a trade card, which is awesome to hear.
Oh, okay.
So if there's any corrections like that, definitely put them in the chat. Far from an expert on this kind of stuff.
That's great.
But, that is a little bit. It makes a little bit more sense, like why that one still exists. But not that candy bars. I saw someone trying to move. What was it? The I don't know, there was a candy wrapper. Oh, it was a Reggie Jackson candy bar, like a
Oh
full
yes,
case.
yes, I've seen
Yeah, and
that.
I was
Yeah.
like, man, how does that happen?
Right. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, this one's fun. Again, it's just the artwork, and like the on the
Yeah, this
bottom
is a
right
cool
hand corner,
set.
it says he's a shortstop. When I look at this guy, I think he's a pitcher, but okay, he's the shortstop. His uniform and just the expression and the design of this is, most of the fun. Let's keep going. This is one of yours, right?
No, this was yours. Although I
Okay.
know a little bit about this set.
Okay.
I think there's two others, and I'll just say there's two others that I know about from this set. And there's one where they're chasing after the umpire, and that one is the one that I want. It's like they're just gonna beat the brakes off the umpire apparently. And then now I can't remember the other one. This is yeah. But this is a really great set. I think this is kind of like what we were touching on earlier, with the comedic aspects. Like you have the hat flying off. This guy is like crawling after the ball,
And his foot is just barely on first
yeah,
base. It's like
yeah,
ridiculous.
not quite enough, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a great set and great art. And these are on my want list. Like I would have loved to have done a scan of my copy of this card, and maybe that's something to look for this year.
Okay. Yeah.
The National.
Yeah, and that's something too. Like Max, when you get a chance, maybe you're busy, you're in a live stream, but like putting your Flickr account, because all Max's cards are available to take a look at on Flickr, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if I can post links in here, but
Okay.
post it.
We'll figure it out.
Oh, okay. This one's mine.
Yes.
This is a really interesting card, and I briefly touched on this. So this is an 1893 Arbuckle's Coffee card. Coffee actually has a K distinction. I believe it's for coffee. It's all the coffee cards I see have Ks in the American card catalog, and this is obviously like baseball's not the primary focus, but what I love about this card is the other things that they saw or chose that were important to the country at the time. So
Right.
You have someone fishing, sailboating, like a circus, a clown. You have a old time bicycle, and then I want to say that the thing above the baseball scene is a camera.
It's a camera. Yeah.
The back. Let's see. I actually have, because this is mine, I have my copy of it. On the back, it has a write-up of each thing, as well as, yeah, I'm not going to be able to see it because it's backwards. But it has a write-up of each thing, and it talks about the country. And go ahead and keep it on me because I have.
Because you're that vain.
Yeah. Chocolate card. This is obviously they just took the design and slapped their own name on it. And then this is a French card, actually. This is has a similar write-up, a lot less information, but it talks about, let's see, each aspect and like stats on the country. Again, I was talking about it earlier. If you are a French person in this time, this may be, the first time you've ever seen baseball. You read it and it says like, talks about baseball, and it's a little sneak preview. This is really got two more. This one is actually really, really tough. This is Holloway's, and this was basically like a snake oil, which is something that I love. It's like a crossover card for me. I love just like weird medicine, but yeah. So this again is just a ripoff of the original Holloway's. So this one, I believe, came from 1900, and the original Arbuckle is from 1893. And then I have this one that I just picked up. This is I don't even know what this is. Chicory. Someone that speaks French can tell me what that is. Wait, is it? Anyway. So and there's a lot more that I don't have. I've seen at least 2 more advertisers for those.
The chat's been asking, how do you find more information about these?
Yeah, thanks, Theo.
No problem.
Yeah, so I'll let you jump in, Max. I've got 2 pieces of advice in terms of where to get more information about these cards. One would be to tap into Max's brain. You'll have to ask him for permission first. And the other would be prewarcards.com as a starting point. All the cards that I pulled came from that website. And I think most of the cards that Max is showing are also featured on that site too. Max, I don't know if you have other resources.
I'll mention one more, which is, this is part of me not pulling my weight during this live stream of me not telling you about Old Cardboard. That is an amazing resource, oldcardboard.com. You can go by each category. I talked about K cards being coffee. They have a section on N cards, D cards, E cards, F cards, M cards. I don't know what that is. R cards, W, so forth. So this is a side tangent. I think a lot of people, when you talk about T cards, they're like, oh, tobacco. Like, oh, this is a tobacco card. T does not actually stand for tobacco. It's like, 20th century, which is why the N cards, which are also tobacco cards, are, so anyway, right. Just as a total side note, but Old Cardboard is actually like a resource that I love. So hopefully that answers the question. Of like great resources. The other thing I will say is, and it hasn't happened as much yet, but there's going to be some cards that I'm just going to say, I don't know. I have no idea. And that's part of the issue with these. So I talked to a couple awesome collectors who are also interested in these, baseball scenes, generic baseball cards. And there is always something that we've never seen before.
Right.
I talked to a guy who's been collecting these for 20 years, and I showed him 3 cards he'd never seen before. And he's like, wow, how'd you find those? And vice versa. It just, these cards are not cataloged. We're so spoiled, in the United States, to have like our cards cataloged. And I think someone talked about Jefferson Burdick earlier. Without him, maybe we'd be in the same place. But there's still entire countries of cards that just, I don't know what that is.
Right.
Do I have, I've gone as far. Yeah, here's something that I can share. I paid a stupid amount of money for this book, which is about French trade cards. I imported this. This is not something that you can traditionally find on the internet, even though it came out in 2007, and it just has like, French trade card information on this. And I know one of the authors of this book, and this takes this will tie into the Les Sports Modernes card that I'll show later. But the people that felt comfortable enough to write the book on these cards didn't even have half of the checklist on the sports set that I'm going to show earlier. Right. Like, they were so far off on getting it right, and these are the experts, right. So there's not a ton of information, and I have spent an incredible amount of hours, and I would not call myself an expert by any means on these cards. So I know that's not what people want to hear when they say, hey, where do you find more information? It's like, you just got to look, be creative.
It's pending.
Be creative on like your searches and things. Like, I found a card that I'd never seen researching for this video, and I'd searched the same thing 20 times, and this time a card popped up. So just in terms of you just can't on some of these things.
Which is part of the fun, right? Part of the fun is like looking into it and seeing what you find.
Yeah, that
Um,
ties back to me finishing the T206 sets. Like, what's next? There's something about this unknown that is really exciting to me.
right.
Just totally different level of dissection of the sets. Like T206, people know so much about it already, and then this stuff, it's like, man, what's that?
Right, right. Let's keep going. So I know you have this one,
Yeah, this is my
1900,
copy of the
1901.
card.
I'm sorry?
This is my copy of the card.
Okay.
1900 to 1901 WDHO Will's Cigarettes, Sports of All Nations. This is actually the one that started it all for me. This card used to be very affordable. It is no longer affordable. Let me see if I can actually, and this is something I should have done previously, pull it out of the box, but let's see here. Riff, Alex, riff, hurry. No, just kidding. I got it.
I don't mind
This
silence.
back is so intricate on these. It is so beautiful. My webcam is not doing it justice. There's actually quite a few variations of the advertisers. We can go back to the slideshow, but when you talk about what I was saying of like representations of like not only our country but also the sport of baseball, like this has the flag on it. It's a great scene. You see the
Yeah.
gear. I think like if you were a kid in Britain around the turn of the century, I think you could infer a lot from this card of like
Yeah.
what of like this catcher, like what, or you wouldn't know what it was, but it's similar to the position in cricket. It's like, oh man, that's the tough guy, like they're getting beat up in this. And so like I absolutely love this card. It has exploded in value. It's I don't even know what it's at right now, but I don't know if you can get into one for like less than a couple $100s, but it used to be not that much. And one fun thing about this particular copy, again, this is my personal copy. I had been looking. I was being cheap. I didn't want to buy one for $40 or whatever it was at the time, and I got a notification of one getting listed. This was when ComC check out my cards just started posting over to eBay, and it was like $18 or something like that on eBay. And I was like, oh shoot, I know that they're cheaper on Check Out My Cards because they don't have to pay the eBay fees. So I went and I bought it. I bought it on Check Out My Cards, which I could do a whole hour on Check Out My Cards. Anyway, and it got a 4. I could not believe it. I could not believe this is like one of the best scores of my. It still makes me so happy to have gotten such a sharp copy of this card for such a good deal.
It's beautiful, and I love that it says America Baseball. I mean, like, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I don't know what's going on with the lines on the foul.
Oh yeah,
foul lines that cross on the plate and go back. I've not.
it's almost like somebody was like trying to remember what it's supposed to look like from memory as they drew it.
Yeah. There's a Liebig that's not included in this, which is a meat extract card, by the way, of Ted Williams, where he's like crisscrossed on the on the diamond, and I should have included it. So next up, this is 1900 Les Sports Modernes. This is a card that this might be my favorite of the slideshow. I absolutely love this set. There's something about the art and the color palette that make me think that this is a later issue, but this really, I do want to correct the slideshow. Like this is 1900s-ish, 1900s-ish. I've talked to a couple people from around like that are in the French scene, and they've said like 1880 to 1990. I have one that actually has the 1900 date on it. But this is, we talk about, this one has the chocolate stamp on the bottom.
Yep.
And it has a chocolate advertisement on the back. But I have a blank back. There's like a hand cream back. you know, all this kind of stuff. And when you talk about like dates, I think that it probably varies. There's also a postcard variant of this. It's just super interesting. I was lucky enough to get this one. It's a 5. And I don't know how many are graded. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the only one. But this is one. So I have the complete set for this one, Les Sports Modernes, and it took the guy that sent me the checklist 20 years to complete the checklist. So when you talk about like the difficulty of like finding information on these, like that's kind of what we're talking about. And then this book that literally talks about Les Sports Modernes only has like 14 in the set, and there's like 30 something. So they had no chance, basically, is what I'm saying. But this is a great set. I have the full set on my Flickr, and anyone who loves the look of this, this is one of the few sets that doesn't have a joke in it. But a lot of the cards will have like little jokes about the sport, like the skiing card. There's like a dog skiing in the background and stuff like that. It's just a really fun card. Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful, and it's definitely like, you know, French influenced. Max, we're at 8:40, so I'm worried that we're going to run out of time. So like, where should I jump to if there's like a specific?
Let me pull up the slideshow. Let me pull it up. Let's just keep going on the Susinis. I'll be quick. On that.
Okay. Oh yeah. So, well, here we are. 15.
So these are Cuban cards. I'm sure Orlando has maybe a video on this. I don't know for sure. So sorry, Orlando. You might have to make one if not. But there's 3 cards, and we'll show all 3 in the slideshow. But this is 201. This is a Giants player batting, which is why I had to have it.
Yeah.
It's Red Murray. I can't quite remember right now, and that's something I should have written down. So we can go on to the next guy.
Yep.
This is Tris Speaker.
Right.
This card and image were later remade for a British issue in the 30s, but it's very widely known that this is Tris Speaker. I absolutely love this this photo. And it's a great look of the uniform. Great look at the uniform. So
Max, real quick, these look, in terms of the construction of them, very similar to the Fatima team cards.
They're very similar. Yeah. Okay. It's a real photo front. These cards also were hand painted on the front with watercolor. So you'll have varying degrees of you know, color on the front. It is a very expensive card for Speaker, which don't tell anyone, but the player sliding on this one in 203 is also Tris Speaker. That is not widely known in the hobby. I'll tell me and my closest 100 friends or whatever are in here. I don't know how many people are in here, but
exclusive Hobby Palooza news guys.
If you want a card, a playing days card of Tris Speaker, that's not a strip card, this might be a kind of a low-key cool one for you. Very
cool. And it's beautiful. I mean, gosh, it's an action shot from 1915.
This is a shot from the World Series, actually, with the Giants versus the Red Sox, I guess, right? Or what was he on the Indians at the time? Anyway, Tris Speaker, whatever the World Series, whatever year that was. Yeah. This is So anyway.
Awesome. Just real quick, I'm going to talk about this one. I just like this one because D48 Invisible Color Pictures from the 20s. This just like triggered something that I forgot about from childhood, which was those coloring books that were black and white. And when you dipped your paintbrush in water, suddenly they had color. Well, you know, when you're a kid, you don't know when that stuff started. I just assumed it was around in the 80s, but apparently it was around in the 20s, because this was originally a black and white image, and some kid got it and dipped their paintbrush in some water, and suddenly all these colors appeared. And I think that's just kind of awesome. That's something like that.
That's great. I had never seen this one. I really appreciated the inclusion on it.
Yeah, kind of cool. 1920s D134 at Weber Bakery. Just a beautiful image. And it says, at the bottom, it says, "Hit and run, I'll tell you all. even if it's a lost ball. And then it says, find the lost ball. And this, again, childhood memory makes me think of highlights books, because somewhere in the image, they've hidden a baseball and you have to sort of figure out where the baseball is. I won't spoil it for anybody if you're
Behind the
dying
Four
to know.
Collectors logo.
But just kind of awesome that they were like coming up with different ways to engage the kid who wanted the card. Let's keep going. Okay, there he is, 1925 Turf Cigarettes. Max, you want to briefly talk about the story behind this one?
This is my copy of it. This is still a pretty inexpensive card relative to the two very similar English cards that we're going to show. And again, this is a Playing Days George Sisler card. It says it on the back. You have to read it, but this comes from a Sports of All Nations set, and so it comes from a variety of cards. This is the most valuable and collected card in the set, at least in America. So
Right.
If you're looking, like if you're watching this and you're like, oh, I want to get a representation of a baseball card, this would probably be the most common and easy to get.
Right, that's where I started. And the back is also interesting because it references this plan to build a monument in Washington for baseball, which was sort of pre-Hall of Fame. Just like that, everybody was realizing, hey, we need to start memorializing these great players. That whole monument fell apart in terms of just like raising funds, but then of course the Hall of Fame came around.
Yeah.
So let's keep going. 1929 Churchman Cigarettes.
Quickly, I know we're not going to have time to show all the ones that I have, but
Yeah.
for this one, obviously it's Babe Ruth. It's the same image as a postcard that they used in Japan, and I think someone's found the original photo. I got my copy of this for free. I found a lot on eBay and was able to sell the other cards. Actually, I think someone paid me like $50 to have a copy of this. This one is not mine. But yeah, I love this card. Again, in terms of like a Playing Days card of Babe Ruth, this and the Sinella are just about as good as you can get for a budget. So
right, it's beautiful.
Card. I'm not doing this one justice, but we got to go.
Yeah. Yeah, Babe Ruth. Okay, great. Next
cool, yeah, whatever. This one is really cool. This is actually the back of this one is in Chinese. And I love this card. The art is super questionable in terms of quality, but I mean, China is not huge on baseball even today. Like obviously they're represented in the World Baseball Classic, and I want to say we've seen them in like the Little League World Series and all this kind of stuff. But what a cool card. What a cool card. This is incredibly rare. I've only seen one for sale in years. And it went for a very high amount, and I don't own this one, and I'm sad.
I think it's beautiful. It makes me feel like I'm seeing a frame from what could be like an animated film or something. It's really interesting.
Yeah, this is a great card.
Yeah,
it was quite hard for me to find even the scan of that one. This is a really, really cool set. The 1934 R72 Shutter Johnson. This is baseball player. I absolutely love the art on this one. This is a really interesting set because I think it was targeted towards like young boys, and it was like all these potential careers that were like kind of action oriented.
Right.
And fun, just quick aside on this set, even though we don't have time, is this set has one of the rarest non-sport cards. It's there's only like 2 known copies, and it's like the weightlifting champion. It has a bunch, like even the ones that you have a bunch of holes punched in it because that was the one that was used for the promotion for this card. So
okay,
gotcha. Yeah, that would be a fun little rabbit hole for somebody to go down.
B. Roth in the house.
Hello.
1936.
Yeah, this is Allen's Sports and Flags of All Nations. Again, this is later than the other one, but you have another depiction of the American flag and baseball. This is actually an Australian card, and it took me a long time to find a nice copy of these, but this is a fun one, and there's a variety of backs as well. This is a South African card.
Yeah, wow.
1936 United Tobacco Sports and Pastimes, and this is such a unique art style. This is my copy of the card, and when I saw this one, I just had to have it. It's like I don't typically like collect cards that are this late. I realize I'm talking about 1936, but if you know my collection, this is one of the newer cards, and I just really love this one. I don't know what you would call this art style, but it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, but it definitely feels 30s-ish, and I think it's beautiful. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's. And when you first sent me this, and I saw South Africa baseball, it's like this whole other part of my brain opened up. Like I didn't even think that was a place where a baseball card, would come from in a way. So really great.
This is a card from the Olympics. In 36. This is one that I just recently discovered, never seen before. I'm trying to find a copy of this album, but if you know about the 36 Olympics, maybe I don't want it. Maybe I just want to find this card. So this is just, I think this is a cool scene. And as we were kind of like trying to figure out like how many cards to show, I thought this one would be cool. So
right.
I really want to talk about the next cards on this one.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh, yeah.
These are from 1917. This is British American Tobacco. Those are the blank backs of these. There exists crazy backs. I think if you go 2 slides, the next 2 slides, I can show the backs. But these are all of the slides, or sorry, the backs that you can get for these. The blank back is the British American Tobacco, and then Mac Robertson's is pretty easy. And I think that the color of the two, we can go back to the fronts, is only represented the ones that have the ones with the gold on the back. So obviously the same art. The color one is my favorite. There's 2 variants of this one. You have the one that's seen there. And then there's one that was produced by W.D. Wills, and the only difference is the advertiser is stuck or is on the top right of that one. So
right, just want to show these a little bit close up here.
Yeah,
really beautiful.
Yeah,
and I can't decide which one I like more. That they're both great, and it's just kind of interesting to see how they were handled differently.
Yeah, another set with Sports of the World,
right?
And one thing that I thought was cool is that we get to see the umpire in this one.
Yes.
And that we've looked at a lot of other cards from this era, and it's kind of not necessarily included a lot of times, but an important aspect of the game. So
right. Well, we should probably wrap up. Unfortunately. Right. But I do want to, Max, say thank you for jumping in and helping me put this together. This was some research on our part. Max and I both come from the educational world, so if it felt like you were in class has now ended. I hope you took good notes. And one of my favorite things is when people tell me that they're upset with me because they felt compelled to go buy a card because of a card that I talked about. So if anybody out there ends up getting one of these cards and is upset, please let Max and myself know. I consider it a badge of honor when you inspire somebody to spend some money on a baseball card.
I love spending other people's money. Yeah,
absolutely. So anyway, guys, we're running out of time. Make sure you hang around for the wrap up of Hobby Palooza at 9 o'clock with the guys from For Collectors. Thanks so much for hanging out. Make sure you also check out Card Room Live every Sunday night at 8 o'clock on my channel, Bowman53. Max, thanks again.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right. See you guys. Have a great night.
Love my hobby. Keep collecting baseball cards.
But hey, we want to keep the lights on here at For Collectors Studios, so hit the like button for us, guys.
So thanks everybody for coming, and we'll see you next time on For Collectors.
All right, guys, have a great rest of your night. Subscribe to the Four Collectors channel if you haven't done so yet, and we'll see you soon.
All right, guys. Clemente Collector has said we hit a grand slam, so that makes me feel good.